SpaceX's Elon Musk and President Trump's feud risk national security. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. So good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking space, SpaceX, Starlink, Linux. And today, a little bit of a feud. So today, we're going to get into that feud between Elon Musk and President Trump and what is the implications of it. So I was reading an article over on Space News. They did a pretty good job. I want to read some of that to you, but then I'm going to give you my commentary to kind of break this down because there's a lot going on here. And when you just look at it and just hear the news, all of the bluster that goes on, you really don't see the impact that this could have, not just on national security, but also on astronauts going to the ISS and a lot of other things that could be in jeopardy because of this. Remember, you have two very powerful people. You have one that's like the richest man, then you have the most powerful man, and they're going back and forth. Instead of them joining forces, they're doing the tug of war thing. This kind of stuff happens. I think about it sometimes. Is this a chess move or is this for real? What do you guys think? Down below. Anyways, before we get into it, I want to say that if you enjoyed the content, throw it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. If you are, thank you. I appreciate that. And if you want to give back to the channel, there's a little thanks button down there. You can click on that, give $1 or $2 if you want. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you want more SpaceX Starlink specific content, I have about 500 videos I put together over the last 48 months for you. I'll put a link here. Don't click on it yet. When you're done watching this video, click over there. You'll be able to see a whole bunch of helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, and of course the why behind all of it, because this channel is always about the what, the why. So like I said, I want to get into this article first and foremost, and then I'll give you my commentary, and then later on I want to hear from you down below in the commentary. And if you don't want to put anything down there because you're shy, I get it, I understand. Put an emoji right about here. Write down in the comments. At least I know that you actually listened and watched. The article starts out by saying, an escalating feud between President Trump and Elon Musk June 5th included threats to cancel SpaceX's contracts and decommission spacecraft, although those words have yet to become actions. That is true. In a heated exchange largely carried out on social media, Musk's criticism of the budget reconciliation bill backed by Trump turned into a full-fledged attack on each other. Less than a week after Musk ended his formal role in the administration as a, quote, special government employee overseeing the White House's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. That exchange included a threat by Trump to cancel government contracts with Musk's company, such as SpaceX. Quote, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. While the comments did not specifically mention SpaceX, Musk appeared to interpret it as a threat to SpaceX. Quote, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. He didn't elaborate on what would be involved in, quote, decommissioning Dragon. The back and forth between Musk and Trump raises fears that the White House might cut SpaceX off from its extensive work with NASA and the Defense Department. That's very important. The Defense Department, to the detriment of both the government and the company. It comes just months after many in the space industry worried that then close relationship between Musk and Trump might give SpaceX an unfair advantage. So now all of a sudden it goes from an unfair advantage to now you're going to be losing your contracts. Any loss of federal contracts would have a significant effect on SpaceX. Musk, in a rare glimpse into SpaceX's finances, said on June 3rd that SpaceX is projecting $15.5 billion in revenue in 2025, of which $1.1 billion would come from NASA contracts. So what is that, about 7-8%? That's still a good portion. He did not disclose the amount coming from defense work, which would include launches as well as Starlink services and the development of a reconnaissance satellite constellation for the National Reconnaissance Office. The effects on the government from canceling those contracts, though, could be far greater. Both NASA and the Defense Department rely heavily on SpaceX for launch services, as competing vehicles from other companies have been slow to enter service. How about non-existent is more like it. SpaceX has the only operational vehicle other than Russia's Soyuz to get crews to and from the International Space Station and is the key cargo supplier. That's exactly where all of the supplies are coming from, is from SpaceX and their missions to the ISS, as well as crew. And I'll get into that in just a second. That's really, really important. SpaceX also has a NASA contract to develop the US deorbit vehicle, the spacecraft that will ensure a safe re-entry of the station at the end of its life, not too long from now. One industry source, speaking on background, dismisses the exchange as bluster that neither Musk nor Trump would actually implement, noting the reliance the federal government has on SpaceX and SpaceX's desire to retain government revenue. It's a symbiotic relationship. They need each other, no matter how you look at it. Indeed, Musk, about 5 hours after making the threats to decommission Dragon, walked it back. Quote, "Good advice," he wrote in a post responding to an anonymous user who asked Musk to cool down and take a step back for a couple of days from the debate. Elon Musk wrote, "Okay, we won't decommission Dragon." I love it. NASA stood on the sidelines during the Trump-Musk exchange. Quote, "NASA will continue to execute upon the president's vision for the future of space. We will continue to work with our industry partners to ensure the president's objectives in space are met," said NASA's press secretary, Bethany Stevens. The search for a new NASA administrator nominee. The dispute between Musk and Trump overshadowed comments made by Trump earlier in the day about his decision announced May 31st to withdraw the nomination of Jared Isaacman to be NASA's administrator. Musk, quote, "wanted to rightfully recommend somebody that I guess he knew very well. I'm sure he respected him to run NASA, and I didn't think it was appropriate." Trump said Isaacman was a Democrat, although Isaacman has donated to both Republican and Democrat candidates and organizations over the years. Quote, "We won. We get certain privileges, and one of the privileges is we don't have to appoint a Democrat. NASA is very important. We have great people. General Kane is going to pick somebody. We'll be checking him out," he said, a reference to General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's unclear why Trump asked Kane, an Air Force general with no space background, to select the head of the nation's civil space agency. It's a good point also. You know, when I look at this, it's just absolutely baffling that these two people, these two extremely bright minds, very, let's say, affluent, the richest man on the planet and the most powerful at this point, are butting heads, right? And I get it, because that's what always happens. Billionaires love butting heads. You look at Elon Musk with Jeff Bezos, they don't really like each other. This is what happens right across the board. Okay, this is nothing new. The only thing is, to me, is I don't want the nation to get involved with it, right? There shouldn't be this bickering between these two big figureheads, especially when it comes to national security. This is an issue, all right? I've said this on this channel from the very beginning. I loathe politics. I'm not a political guy. I just personally think that anyone that wants power should never be given it. If you are trying to get power, you should never get it. That's just the way I look at it. You know, back in Socrates and Plato and all of the great minds' days, the people that actually ran things, the people of power, were given the power by the people, not because they requested it, because they deserved it. And most of the time, the people that got the power didn't want it. They wanted to sit and think. That was their job, so to speak. That was their goal in life, to think. They ended up having to run things, or at least counsel those that were. And it ended up being things that they didn't want to do. But once again, they were appointed to do them. And they took it on with respect to that appointment. Once again, people that want power should never be given it. That's my personal opinion. All right. And that's what we see that has been going on with politics forever. This is just the way it is. This back and forth, this bickering back and forth, and us, the people, are never really thought about. It's all about one side or the other side. It's really annoying, in my personal opinion. Now, remember, when it comes to national security, SpaceX is so important, guys. So important. Look what SpaceX and Starlink has done for the Ukraine. It is massive. Look what SpaceX, Starlink has done for us in the rural community. Massive. Well, don't forget Starshield. Starshield is basically the equivalent to SpaceX Starlink, but for the government. It really needs to be functioning and functioning well. There's so many things. When it comes to the ISS, for example, like they alluded to in this article, Elon Musk and their Falcon 9 ended up getting us back to the ISS after our space program was basically decommissioned by the powers that be, Obama and the rest of them, back in the day after the space shuttle kind of went on its merry way, right? It was decommissioned. And the only way that we were able to get US astronauts to the space station was with who? Russia and their Soyuz rocket. That was it. That was the only way that we can get our cargo and our people to and from that spacecraft, the International Space. So think about this. Until Elon Musk came on board, there was no way. We had to Uber with the Russians. Now we actually have a means to get there and back. And Elon Musk threatened to decommission it, saying, listen, you want to get rid of our contracts? Okay, no problem. We're going to shut down Dragon. You're not going to get your people anymore back and forth from the ISS. Find someone else to do it. So Elon Musk has a lot of power. And of course, the president has a lot of power. And as we can see on Truth Social and of course on X, this battle, this tug of war back and forth. You know, when I listen to this stuff, it almost feels fake. It almost feels like chess moves played on a board. It almost feels not right, you know, just not right. I always like to dig in a little bit deeper, you know, when you look at this, it just, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is a true spat back and forth, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just something for us to talk about, and there's something else happening on the back end. So I don't want to get into all of that, but I want to know what you think about that down below. What do you think? Also, the whole idea of bringing in this guy to replace Bill Nelson as the administrator over there at NASA, bringing in Isaacman, I think it's great. Okay, I don't know the guy, but what I know is that he's a billionaire, and he was the commander of a couple of these Polaris missions, right? You have the one mission that flew, what was it, in 2021? I think it was called the Inspiration. And then you had the next one, 2024, last year, that was the Polaris Dawn. Now, he was the commander, but what does that mean? And when you hear that, just face value, you're like, yeah, he was like a commander. He's like the astronaut. He commanded the ships. He did do spacewalks, but he was a private guy. He's not a professional astronaut. Right? He was just like a private dude that is a billionaire that has a lot of damn money. So keep that in mind. All right. And this is what happens. Like the dude that went down in the, the submarine all the way to the depths and just imploded. Well, he was the commander of the ship, but that doesn't mean too much. He was just a billionaire that had a lot of money, didn't know what to do with it. So is this guy Isaacman really good for the job? I don't know. But I tell you what, determining his worth based on his political party is a bunch of BS. I personally think that anyone should get the job, no matter your race, creed, or color, or political party that you side with. It doesn't matter to me. If you're right for the job, you should get it. The problem with it is it doesn't work like that. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, look at Bill Nelson. right? People will be like, well, what did he do? Well, Bill Nelson in 1986, he flew on the space shuttle. That was pretty big, right? He was the payload officer. He did like 12 plus medical experiments. He also was the first American to take a stress test in space. So there's some things that he did. Was he like a professional astronaut? Well, a little bit more than Isaacman, obviously, who's a private person that is getting to space basically with his money. So the same thing with Mr. Virgin over there does. So in my personal opinion, I look at it as, is this the best guy? Yes or no? He's a good businessman. He's been to space. He's did a couple of spacewalks. Yeah, maybe not. I don't really know. I don't know the guy. But, just to determine people's worth based on their political party, I think is just absolutely asinine. That's just my opinion on this stuff. I want to know what you think down below. Do you think that this type of thing is really okay for the nation, or do you think it's really bad for the nation? I personally look at it as extremely bad because you have Russia, for example, looking at us, and you have China looking at us. Russia especially, they're like, they're not going to be able to get any people to and from. They're going to have to come to us, to Uber once again, to get to the ISS because Elon's going to shut down the Dragon. We love it. That's what Russia's saying. China's over there infighting. It's good. It's good. We love that. So in my personal opinion, keep the stuff out of media. Keep it to yourselves. Go inside of a room somewhere and discuss it. Don't discuss it on Truth Social. Don't discuss it on X. I have to say one thing, though. All of the comments stayed on their specific platform, which is kind of nice, right? All the stuff that Trump said stayed on Truth Social. All the stuff that Elon said stayed on X. All right. They both own these media platforms and they want to go and kind of bolster their opinions and whatnot. Okay, whatever. But it is, to me, problematic, and I think that it needs to be fixed. There's no reason for it, in my personal opinion. So what say you? What side of the fence are you on? Do you agree with Musk? Do you agree with Trump? Are you somewhere in the middle? In my personal opinion, I think that whatever is done by either one of these parties or anyone that is in government or in office should be about we, the people, and not about them or any political party. That's my personal opinion. Down below, I want to hear from you. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, throw it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. I really appreciate it. Go over to my website, JCristina.com. Check it out. Look at my merch, my tees, my shirts, my books, and all the rest of stuff over there. If there's something you like, please pick it up. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you guys.